Discretion is advised.
I think I did it right. I moved my buttons around. Guys, this is why you don't move your buttons around pre-show, because then you don't know where anything is. Right? Right. Happy Saturday. You're listening and or watching Pwnecast. This is episode 256. We are in patch 8.2. Tonight, we are finally, get hype, finally going to break down the Eternal Palace cinematic with the mighty Ashara, because if you guys haven't seen it or you haven't done it, you should have by now, because it's been out long enough. So, get prepared for that, because we need to know things. Like, there's some implications in this cinematic, and I don't know if it's my paranoid nature, but feels like something wicked this way comes. We are going to talk about a few 8.2.5 items that I think are important to bring up. It's not a huge content patch, but with Rathian and some other stuff, like, it's kind of setting up for what I think is probably going to be one of the last major content patches, which is 8.3. I don't know if they talked about anything beyond that. I don't remember. But, I mean, in terms of story, it feels like this is pretty much what we are setting up for. So I want to talk about that, and I wanted to go into the story more. And in an update, we did go deep into the dark depths of the ocean, past Queen Ashara, past N'Zoth, and we found Arem. Though he's not here on the show tonight, so don't get excited. We do have proof of life that he does exist, and we're pretty excited about that. So we have that and much, much more, so make sure you guys stay right here.
In 2014, a crack commando unit was banned from trade chat for comments they didn't make. These men and women promptly escaped from the Stormwind stockades to the Ironforge underground. Today, still hunted by the trolls of trade chat, they survive as soldiers of fortune. If you have a problem, if no one else can help, and if you can find them, then maybe you can hire the Pwnecast. Leader and brains of the operation, it's Belle.
I want tacos so bad.
I just went in there, and Hector is gonna be running 3 Honda Civics with spoon engines. And on top of that,
With the Pwnecast team assembled, let the battle for Azeroth begin.
Hey guys, this is Bajira, and you're listening to Pwnecast.
I don't know why Envy's little intro, however fast to the point and ghetto it may have been.
You know, it's as fast as Pugsley. Let's be real. That pug can't move.
Poor Pugsley. It's not his fault he's portly.
Nah, it's 100% his fault. He loves food. He's a grown dog.
Is that expected for them to be portly? Hey, Dolph. Are they supposed to be portly?
Yes.
So,
anywhere between 15 to 18 pounds.
welcome back. If you are new to Pwnecast, my name is Belle, and I apologize in advance for whomever we might offend on tonight's episode. No, we don't.
No, we don't.
He's right.
We
Zero
talk
fucks.
shit about it afterwards.
Yeah, 0 fucks. We don't even mind. This is my co-host with the fat pug most, Envy. Welcome back, Envy.
Danke schön.
Tonight we have a good amount of stuff to talk about, to be perfectly honest. And for those of you who are wondering where the hell the show was last week, we did talk about going bi-weekly, which I'm kind of thinking that was a really good idea, just because I got to do a lot of stuff Saturday night. Most of it was gaming, but that matters, right?
We totally went by. It's the greatest decision ever.
Yeah, we did things, and I'm okay with that, really. It's been weekly for the better part of 5 years. Better this than trying to constantly, like, with life.
Adult and stuff.
Yeah, who even likes adulting? Is that even a thing?
We were having a conversation earlier before the show about how I went to Costco and bought this like expensive ass Dyson vacuum, and I cleaned the whole fucking house. I'm like so proud of myself, and I'm just like, holy shit! It only took me $500 to like actually clean the damn house. Adulting sucks. Don't do it.
Yeah, I got that. We were talking also that I got the cheaper version, which is the Shark, which, for it being the cheaper version, it's pretty great. You would think that that's what the sound is going to make, right? It gives you the impression that there's something shark-esque about the vacuum. It is not, except it eats everything, which maybe that's the reason. That was kind of good. So, before we get into the reset for Tuesday and what we're looking forward to there, I just want to make a shout out to Bean Dip. So, when I say shout out, I mean a fuck you. So I go to my mailbox, right? And Envy was with me, so Envy had, well, his mailbox was a little bit different in the contents, but I get excited because I got this wrapped package from Bean Dip, and I was like, wow.
You got Bean Dip's wrapped package.
Like, the guild asshole loves me enough to send me a wrapped package. So, like a kid on Christmas morning, I unwrap the package, and it's a fucking yellow shirt. Right? Like a standard, basic, white girl yellow shirt.
Basic.
Of course, Envy has a different story to tell because Bean Dip, I think, was hard trolling him. What did he actually send you?
Alright, this motherfucker. So, same shit. He wrapped that shirt into a package and sent me one. My mailbox was completely 100% filled. There were some that were just individual packages. There were others that had like the whole slots filled in the one mail parcel. And then there were some that were like COD. I'm like, for a gold each. I'm like, this son of a bitch. I'm like, nope. Turned off the game. Well, Alt F4, downloaded an add-on, came back in.
Is it bulk
one
mail?
click. Yes, one click, sent it all back. And then later on in the week, he was just like, that plan backfired on me. Because it all went back to him, and he spent about an hour, he said, packaging all that shit. Then Deirdre made the mistake of saying he missed out on the free t-shirt day, so Bean went ahead and took care of that.
Oh, shit, damn it. That's what happens. Deadpool should know better, really. He really should know better.
Fuck you, Bean Dip.
Still not as bad as going every Sunday. I do Guild Bank stuff. I check the food. I take everything out of... Yeah, I take everything out of the deposit tab. I basically just do my, my Guild Mom stuff. And I do the cooking and just make sure, like, everything is in its spot and move mats around and make sure everything's organized. I always have to take non-current content mats. And these aren't important mats, guys. Like, this isn't like, your mats that are hard to find that you always need because you're still using them in current content from, 4 expansions ago. These are bullshit fucking standard linen cloth. And bullshit that you can't sell to vendors. Which is why people put it in the Guild Bank. They put it in the deposit tab because it's easier to do that than to delete it, because they can't sell it to vendors either. So they just open up the Guild Bank and they deposit it all in there because the vendor doesn't want it. So then I get stuck doing it and dealing with all the old mats. But there was a point in time when guildies thought it was funny to put a ton of left sharks in the bank. Problem with putting pets in the bank is you really can't do shit with these things because you just get a ton of them and you feel bad deleting them because what if somebody wants one? But they're literally like 20 copper on the auction house, so they don't even make you any money. There was like a whole tab of just left sharks. An entire tab, and it was full because people were sending me in-game mail and saying, hey, I can't deposit because it's full of left sharks. Yeah, that's horrible, guys. It's just...
Bean Dip did the same thing with the free t-shirts as he did with the freaking left sharks. When that shit was current, like, nobody's mailbox was safe.
We're touching bases?
Is that kind of like dot?
I don't know. It's something about table that and circle back to it when we touch bases. Are we touching bases? Are we rating bases? That would be really awesome, because I need to be straight anyway. Okay, so let's talk about what's happening for the weekly reset before I squirrel, because you guys know that that's what happens when you are getting old. And I don't want to just, like, blindly call myself old, but guys, let's be real.
Viejita.
Though, I got to tell you guys a funny story before we do the weekly reset. So, Friday, I took the whole day off to drive my daughter to college. So, we had to take 2 cars because I wanted to take my other children because I thought it was important that Anastasia have that memory of the whole family going and embarrassing her and the stuff white people do. So, we're moving all her stuff in there, which the school was extremely efficient. It was amazing. Never have I ever done a thing and not Karen, and it was the first time I didn't have to Karen, and it was amazing. They had that shit on lock, like they took everything up to her room. I didn't have to do anything except to help her unpack it. But I'm standing in the hallway, I forget what we were doing, and somebody that works at the school, they're a student, maybe a junior, was talking to me as if I was the student. Now, mind you, I have an NAU mom t-shirt. My husband has the dad, NAU dad t-shirt. Like, we're cliche white folks, right? Like, we repping in that motherfucker. Well, this person's talking to me as if I'm the student and telling me, oh, you'll get the hang of where everything's at and like all this stuff. And I'm like, God bless you for thinking that I am young enough to be a freshman college student. Bless you. Clearly you have a vision issue, but bless you for that. Blow to the ego. Must have been the skinny jeans that are ripped, because I can't buy skinny jeans that aren't ripped. That's a whole other episode and a whole other rant. So let's talk about Tuesday, August 27th for the reset and what's coming up for content. It is going to be my least favorite weekly event, which is Pet Battle bonus event, though I know many of you like it. If you are a pet battler, there is still value in doing it, so go and do the pet battle things. The PvP Brawl is my second favorite. PvP Brawl, which is Arathi Blizzard. That is until, that's actually now until the 27th, right?
Yes.
Trial of Styles today, so you have a few hours to go get heckled, throw tomatoes, show off your fashion.
Work it, girl.
Yeah, like do things. And then the BFA, the dungeon event, is happening now, so that ends on the 27th, so get your 4 mythic dungeons done. Because you want the loots from it.
You sure do.
They got a good loot table. What is it, 415? 420?
Mine were all heroic, so varies.
Excuse us, sorry.
Well, you should, if you were online more often.
Hey, all it takes is a simple text to say, hey, we're running mythics, and I'm going to be like, yo.
I didn't say mythics. I said, if you show up to actual heroic raids, you might get it.
Have you looked at my eye level recently for not heroic rating? I think I killed like 2-3 bosses heroic.
Yeah, we carried you.
No, you didn't. But if you look at my eye level, I'm doing pretty well. I keep up even when I don't raid. I do keep up.
I'm gonna call him out right now. That warrior that's tagging along with us, Greybush.
I really like his name.
He's a hilarious kid. When we killed the normal Ashara, he was only 399 item level.
Oh hell, we didn't even notice.
Oh, it was hilarious.
That's good that we didn't even notice, though. Honestly.
He comes from a high caliber style rating, so I figured he'd be okay.
High caliber rating.
Yeah, like mythic, something I don't have the time or patience for.
Yeah, I don't have that either. At all.
If you're wondering why I'm looking down,
yeah, I was gonna ask you, but then I was like, I don't know. Like, I'm not gonna judge what's going on.
I swear, I'm just petting Pugsley. He made his way downstairs, and he's breathing heavily.
He's breathing heavily? I thought that was you breathing heavily.
Oh, well, like father, like son.
True. Hotfixes happened the 20th. It's just normal little guy stuff. We're not going to see a whole lot of things, mostly because if you guys have been checking out the PTR updates on Wowhead, which are really hard to find because everything is classic when you go to the main page. So if you are like me and you don't give 2 fucks about all that and you go to a website for a specific thing, just click the view all news and you can actually remove whatever is in your vision that's taking up all your space so that you can actually see the news that's pertinent to you, because it is rather annoying. Not for any other reason. I'm not hating. Just I don't care about all that. I need my news.
There is one hotfix that I wanted to point out for some guilds that may be struggling with.
Is it the court?
No, it's Queen of Shara. This was a hotfix last week on the 19th. Actually, was it this week? I don't know. It was this Monday. My birthday of all days. Queen of Shara, the wards will now energize a lot slower depending on the size of the raids. I think it's like anything below 15, so 14 and under. Your wards will charge or de-energize a little slower. That'll make or break the fight.
Is that normal?
What?
The hotfix?
It's on normal and heroic.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, if you're struggling with the wards, it might be a little easier now. Like I said, you saw it, Bill. Those wards will make or break the fight. You know, you stand in them and you get stacks, like 5, not 10.
I was just like, well, fuck it. Because I was getting ready to pop out, and then he's yelling in my ear saying, we need more. We need more. So I'm just like, well, fuck it. I'm just going to stand here then. Like, nobody else is here. I'm just going to stand here and take it. Then I died, and in between the I'm like, how many of those can I actually take before I die? And he's like, 5. I'm like, oh, okay then. 12's not a good idea. Not good to be dead. You need to be part of life. So, Laser, before I move on, when you're talking about collaborating, what do you mean collaborating? Because we've been 5 years now, and we've done a lot of collaborating, depending on your definition. Cross podcasts, like the whole 9. But when you say collaborations, can you be specific? That's just, specific. Give me specifics. And I'm not really interested in growing per se and I'll tell you why in a minute. Actually, I'll wait for your response and then I'll tell you. Okay. And of course, LFR Wing 3 is out. So go do it if you haven't. I hope you have, because we are going to talk about the cinematic here in a few minutes. So it's important that you guys go and do the cha-cha. Oh, I fucking Spotify header. Damn it. Well,
they
fuck.
only pointed it out like 50 billion times.
You know what, though? It's weird because I could have swore that I actually did it, but...
I was driving my kid to college. I was adulting. I just didn't have any energy. Which excuse are we going with?
There's all of them. Like, I can legitimately... They could all be excuses, to be perfectly honest. I do need to fix that. But... man, guys, I'm just slacking all the way around. And I love how it doesn't show my country of origin. And it now says my artwork doesn't meet standards. Well, what's new? Does anything I do meet standards? Probably not. I actually can't change it here. That's why it won't let me. Huh. Okay. Anyway, so... collaborations with other podcasts. What does this mean? Give me what are you considering a collaboration? Did he answer that? I can't imagine me and that guy have anything to talk about, considering that I am not a fuck giver of Classic. I can't imagine what middle ground. Like, I support him because he's method, right? But I can't imagine how a fun conversation would go, considering that he shits on live and I live in live. That's like in-laws, right? If you like your in-laws, that's great. If you don't like your in-laws, it's a problem. Just throwing that out there. Like, no one wants that. So it's weird because I fixed the stuff, guys. As we were talking, I'm trying to get my shit together here, and I'm fixing it, and it's already fixed. Like, it doesn't give me the option to change anything. Oh.
Oh.
Got it, guys. Guys, we're all right. Well, I have there's a base.
Seriously, guys? Guys. Seriously.
You making fun of me because I'm blonde? It's cool.
Guys. Seriously.
So, when it comes to collaborations, I'm friends with a fair amount of very much large people that are not. I'm not large. We're just here. Like Taliesin and Evital. Friends with those guys. When it comes to collaborations, I have nothing to offer anybody. I have nothing to offer anyone. Envy does because he's like pro raider. I have nothing to offer outside of my opinions, which 90% of the time offend people, and my take on things. I have no desire to grow because here's the thing. Last year I had an epiphany. I worked and I spent 90% of my time in my office on Bertha doing content creation for YouTube, for Method, I even had a news website at once. I put my whole everything into this to not even come close to even touching the hemisphere of this world amongst the people that don't have jobs or kids or responsibilities of any kind. And that isn't a dig at anyone who doesn't have those things. It's a dig at, I don't have that kind of time to build that by doing nothing, but the second something comes out or news hits the whatever, we can go and run and do a video on it. I don't have the time. So I'm out here looking, I have goals, right? We have all these things. We've got a 5-man cast, like we've got all this stuff going on. I want people on the internet to love me because if they love me, they'll love the show. Then I had a moment where I realized that it was pretend, and it was the moment when I was promoted. When I was promoted after only being with the company for 3 years, and I was promoted to a very important, I don't want to say important title because I get shit on, but it's important because it's a bigger title than assistant to the regional janitor. I realized that is something tangible. That is a tangible thing that matters because the higher I go, the more money I make. I actually get to make a difference at my job. And I don't make a difference in this world because there's too much pretend and fake and ass kissing and a lifestyle that goes along with a lot of these guys. Not all of them. There are many of them that are very genuine. I don't play the game, and I am not a traditional girl. I don't play the game, and I'm never going to reach my goals because I refuse to play the game. I don't hobnob. I don't fake it. I don't pretend to love other content creators that I don't love. I don't fake tweet just for the sake of adding someone famous. I don't do those things, and I'll never be able to do those things. That's just not in my nature. And I don't give two shits what anyone thinks of me on the internet. There was a time when I did, and I wanted to have 20,000 followers, and I wanted to be fucking Panzer famous. But you know where I'm famous? I'm famous with my kids. My kids think I'm awesome. That's enough for me. My husband thinks I'm a shit show, but he thinks I'm awesome. That's good enough for me. My mother's proud of me. That's good enough for me. And my grandbaby thinks I'm the best thing since sliced bread because she's too young to know any better. Those are the things that matter to me. Quality with the people around me, that matters to me. I don't give two shits about anything on the internet. I really don't care anymore, guys. Like, I think people think I'm just kidding. I don't. I literally don't care.
She genuinely doesn't.
I do this for fun. I like talking about WoW. Envy likes talking about WoW. I love being with you guys. But I don't care anymore. I have no aspirations. I know you want to say something, Envy. Just say it.
TLDR, I chose to be an adult and not play the game to get paid.
What'd you say?
Just being a grown-up in general.
Yeah,
you chose to have a life versus making the game your life to make money off the game.
It was my life for a really long time. And all I saw was heartache. I saw heartache and I saw frustration and I saw nothing to show for it. And I didn't do it for money. I wanted to have a voice that mattered. But because my voice is not the traditional voice, and I'm not circle jerking with everybody on Twitter. I'm the rude one. I need my remote because it's hot.
We're basically like the Alex Jones of like video game content.
Yeah, I'm like the fucking John McEnroe of fucking WoW. But I made a lot of really good friends, and I have a lot of really good fun. Like, we're gonna throw another DitchCon this year. Like, that's not too bad.
Do I have to register for that?
No, you are a...
Do I have to be
Pass.
present for that?
No, you're a Brew Pass person.
No, I don't have to be present?
For what? Yes, you do.
Damn it. I'm gonna be so smashed. And you're driving my wife insane with your... When you drive my wife insane, she drives me insane. This bitch can't make up her mind on what the fuck she wants and goddamn decorations.
I gave her what she needed. The only thing she needs from me is a table count. You on the late train, my dude. We sussed this out last week. Your wife is the one with the issue because she is
A woman.
one-track minded, and
A Latina.
she will focus a thing to death. She's like me. She'll focus it to death, or she'll focus on things that don't matter.
She'll focus me to death.
Yeah, like she'll focus it to death. She wanted to do a thing with the base, and it took her 2 days to suss it out, and that's just how she works. I just let her go. Oftentimes I won't even respond to her when she asks me something like, should I do this or this? Because she'll figure it out before I even respond.
No, she just gives up. Like, fuck it, I'll do this.
No.
You know what? I'm gonna...
She figures it out.
I'm gonna use that next time.
But I'm the wrong person to be asking about her type of decorating. Because I give her the, like, super detailed stuff. I do the bigger items. This bitch don't even know how to use a fucking glue gun, guys. Last year's decoration situation in my garage was a nightmare. Part of my garage is still orange.
What was it, the pumpkin?
Yeah, we had to throw out the pumpkin. We had to throw out the pumpkin. Because it was not a good pumpkin. Not the big pumpkin we brought, not the candy bucket, but the actual that was supposed to be on the pumpkin shrine. That was just a nightmare. I don't even feel bad for it. So let's get this out of the way so that we can... I don't even know who Pyromancer is. Who is that? Who is Pyromancer? I don't even know who that is. I've not mentioned that person once. You just tweeted. Will, I have no idea who that person is. I'm just going to comment. I don't know who that person is. Anyway, so, where was I? I think I said Panzer, so maybe is Pyromancer and Panzer? Did she rename herself? I don't think so. I would know. Oh, I wouldn't have even gotten the tweet if it was her because I have her ass blocked. So, yeah, I said Panzer, not Pyromancer, but that's okay. All right, so.
8.2.
Oh, you're starting a beef. I got you. Start the beef. Let's do it. I already have beef though. Like, me and Asmin already wants to set me on fire. That's cool. That don't hurt my feelings. All right.
Oh, I really like Asmin.
You love him? Want to be his best friend?
I don't.
Okay. So,
8.2.5.
before we do that, let's just rip the Band-Aid off this situation. So, Method announced...
You said you were going to do this for last.
Yeah, I meant last of the news. I want to end on the Queen of Shara stuff. So, Method has announced they're going to Vegas and they're doing the Classic World First Race. This will be the only mention of Classic minus another tiny topic because I have muted all things Classic. So as of today, I shouldn't see anything else. I had to clean it up because I was still getting stuff. So they're basically, they're announcing the race to World First again. Here's the thing, and I just want to preface this with, this is my opinion and doesn't reflect on anything else. I love and respect this organization that has very nicely let me be a part of them. But let me tell you my feels, tiny bit of my feels. Envy and I were talking pre-show, and he was talking about, you know, like the novelty and you know, how people would enjoy that novelty and you know, the nostalgia and all of that kind of stuff. Kind of feels to me, and again, this is just my opinion, so I don't want any hate mail and I don't want anybody tweeting and all this other stuff. It kind of feels like when they redo a movie that doesn't need a redo. It feels like, now this is again my personal opinion, I don't know, it feels a little like there was already a world first race for this particular platform. We already have our champions for this particular platform. We've already been there and done that. Like, I get it. This is an exciting thing, right? People are going to want to see who does this again. Cool. But we've already been there and done that. How many times can you keep remaking a movie before does anybody else get where you're picking up what I'm putting down? Like, it just feels like it's an unasked for redo or reboot. Like, when you redo a classic that doesn't need to be touched. Maybe it's not even a classic. It was like, we'll just say 4 years ago this was a movie, and then here we are with a redo. Like Robin Hood. How many times have they redone Robin Hood? We're talking like 41 versions. We've had Russell Crowe. We've had Colin Farrell. We've had so many versions of Robin Hood. That's what it feels like to me.
What the hell's that guy's name? Carrie Ells? Mel Brooks, Robin Hood.
Oh,
Men in Tights.
Men in Tights is the best
Best
one.
Robin Hood.
Arguably, that is the best one of all of them. Incidentally, the star of that also played Dread Pirate Roberts. But, yeah, no, I agree. Best version of Robin Hood you could ever ask for. But
And I agree with Bell to some extent. My opinion on the matter is, classic in general is nostalgia. Or if you haven't played the game, that at its rawest form, I guess.
You said raw. Sorry, I'm a child.
Pretty much. This is pretty fucking strong. I need to put this away. But yeah, you're going back to classic for the nostalgia, or you just want to experience it. Yeah, great. You know, it's there. You probably won't have as many issues as everybody else did in the past. But when it comes to rating, for those of us who've played this game from start to finish, or current rather, we will remember the greats like Insidia and so on. Those are guilds that have completed those raids, and they will be legends for it because the content at that time was much more difficult considering where the hardware was at. Yeah, today that's going to be a little easier, maybe. I don't know. I'm not going to speak for the devs. Ultimately, we will see what the game looks like when we get there, but the thing is, classics for nostalgia, right? And my opinion on the matter is, like, why announce something that's going to force a lot of guilds to be like, there's a nostalgia, I need to get to level 60 right the fuck now.
Yeah.
I need to focus on tier 0.5. I need my 5,000 gold. Or was it 50 gold? I don't remember anymore. But yeah, you know, it feels like a kick to the dick. Like, you're making me do something that I didn't want to do right away.
Stop trying to make fetch happen. Like, it's not a thing. And keep in mind, again, I support Method because I get it. I support them, and I will give them a view. I will not pay attention because I don't want anything to do with anything classic related whatsoever. I would rather fucking have a tube stuck up my ass and hot oil shot through the tube. Like, that was probably really specific, kind of weird.
I'm trying not to have a visual, but Pugsley.
I am in no way, shape. My husband the other day, there's this picture on Twitter, and he's like, "What the fuck is that?" And I'm like, "That's a squirrel from Vanilla." He's like, "What do you mean that's a squirrel?" And I'm like, "This is what everybody is obsessed with." Guys, I can't even handle bad graphics on my fucking smart TV. Like, I can't.
You know, it's going to be a culture shock for a lot of people. I remember it coming up with the game, and me and Alex would be like running through a field or something for like doing a tob
Is that because
tobarad.
you're Mexican? You said
Of
that? Or?
course,
Gotcha.
obviously.
I feel you.
Raza. That's what you get.
If I would have said that, I would have been banned on Twitter, on Twitch. Like Twitch would have hard banned me.
Her last name's Chad.
Like
Ends with
I'm
an
one of
easy.
you, I swear.
Her last name ends in an easy, so
I'm one of you, I swear.
I lost my train of thought. Fuck.
Because we just went super racist real quick for like 5 seconds, but it's okay because he's brown, guys. It's okay.
It's okay because I'm brown.
It's okay because he's brown.
Fuck the police.
Fuck.
Never mind.
Fuck the
Don't want to. I'm not gonna say that out
Did you say
loud.
fuck the police? Now we're really gonna get arrested because that's not only that's like a hate crime and a crime against
Well,
humanity.
I mentioned easy.
Oh, rip, Easy.
I don't remember what the hell I was talking about.
You
Christ.
said you and Alex were running through a field.
Oh fuck! Running through a field, not picking up.
What?
Duh. This is.
If we didn't offend anyone, we sure did right now, and I am happy. It is not a good day unless you are offending, defending, offending.
You know, I'm offending
Woo!
2 races at this point.
Let's get her done. Shit.
I'm trying to say the fucking grass
Okay.
evolved.
What? The grass evolved? Is that your focus? The grass evolved.
Like
Because it
there's
moves
like a little
now.
blade of leaf.
Yeah, but
And
now it
moves,
moves.
it's all float, and there's an abundance of
Yeah.
it. It's like, what the fuck?
But I
You got so
can't.
many shader options on your video card now?
I just can't. I can't imagine.
I wish, dude. I can't even grow an actual beard. This is the best I can do. Orale.
I just feel like, yeah, and it is very much like that. Like, here's Michelle Pfeiffer trying to school some inner city kids, and then here's 10 other movies of the same thing, except occasionally we change a small portion of the story. I want those of you who are interested to support Method and to watch, because I think these things, it doesn't matter if I agree with them or if I like them. I think that these things are important for the community nonetheless, so I don't want it to be misconstrued here. I think that whatever it is that's being done is important for the community. I hope that it continues to develop itself into a positive manner, and you know, I just gotta have faith there, but I just wanted to say that. And then, but yes, definitely, like, I'll watch anyway, honestly, just to watch Mom stream, because I like watching her, because she's hilarious. But
That is going to be something cool, though, because streaming wasn't
right.
a big thing back then. So seeing some of these guilds, how they handle certain pools, on Death Knight Wing, for a lot of y'all, that was a pretty shitty pool. Or the trash up to fucking Globulus, I believe his name. That was some brutal shit.
They
It'll be
haven't
interesting
changed
to
the
see
raid
this.
size, Val. It's still the same.
Yeah, everything's gonna be classic.
So it's a good thing. It's, like I said, this isn't something like I'm expressly against and I'm not gonna start a riot or a picket fence. Like, I think these things are great. It doesn't matter what people are doing in the community. If it's their jam, it's their jam. Personally, it isn't my jam. I will support because that's what I do. It isn't my cup of tea. And
She's just gonna low-key hate.
to that end, there's been quite a stir, and this is going to be the last conversation I have in regards to Classic whatsoever, because I never want to say the word again on this show, and I've muted all words. Classic WoW, WoW Classic. I've tried to find all the combinations I could find earlier because I was going nuts because my whole feed was full of that crap. It isn't a dig. It isn't interesting to me. So I use Twitter because I can control the subject matter. I can keep it where it's only my WoW community, but it's no longer just my WoW community. It's now a community of not people that play the game I play. So now I gotta do stuff to make that better. But this looking for group add-on, right? there's been a lot of heated discussion, good and bad, in regards to the fact that it's even, you know, they've scaled it back a little bit in terms of what its capabilities are going to be according to a blue tweet, but I just want to say there's two sides to the story, and I just want to be clear that I am aware of both sides. And usually when Belle's talking shit, doesn't mean I don't know the other side. It just means I choose to not give the other side because I don't give a fuck. But I just want to make sure we're clear. However, y'all wanted this in its form because you wanted the nostalgia. I get it. The technology wasn't available back then, right? They didn't have that ability back then. So why wouldn't you want to use modern technology that we have now to be able to make things easier in game? The whole basis and foundation for the reason that people want a classic back is because that nostalgia of the difficulty, and they miss the element of vanilla. Well, here's the slippery slope we start on, and I talked about this 6 or 7 months ago. Here's the slippery slope. This is the slippery slope, and this is how it starts. Mark my words. However, I'll let them suss that out because that is none of my business, and I don't give any shits. I just think it's really funny, and I find it interesting that what you really want is you want Amityville Horror from 1980 with, when was the Ryan Reynolds movie?
2008.
2008? Was it that far back?
Yeah.
But you guys really want 2008 graphics. Special effects. The pretty. That's really what we're saying here. We want the 1980s, the Amityville Horror, but we really want. So just, I'll just leave you guys with that one. I just had to make sure I commented on it because, again, it's not that I don't understand that technology wasn't available, and it is now, and that's great. But the whole purpose of the classic experience is so that you have the classic experience. Where's the classic experience in having to put together your raid the good old-fashioned way, like you had to back then? Where's that classic experience?
And we're acting like somebody isn't going to build an add-on for it anyway. Add-ons were a big thing back then too.
They're blocking the API to a certain extent, according to the Blue Post, in terms of the group finder itself.
But that doesn't mean somebody else can't dev one.
No, but I'm saying Blizzard is blocking their endpoint, just like they did with OQ. Blizzard's blocking a certain portion of their endpoint to limit its capabilities. If I understood the Blue Post correctly, I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what the Blue Post said.
The community will figure out a way.
I'm sure, but I mean, Blizzard will make it bannable. Like, that's the thing. Like, yes, the community will always find ways, because, like, fucking my man Jeff Goldblum says, like, life will find a way, right? Like,
life will? Yeah.
That dude
I'm not
knows
even
his
going to
shit.
try.
That dude knows his shit. But
does he, though? I mean, he turned into a nasty-ass fly.
just want to make sure we're clear that you didn't want the classic experience. If you wanted the classic experience, you wouldn't be interested in things like looking for group. Yeah, it's just fucking bizarre to me, Grin. Like, dude, I don't know. I'm not on the bandwagon. If you want to continue to be about live, we are going to be here every other week. If you want to be about live while you're drinking, we are going to be in Anaheim on October 30th, doing it, moving. Bring your villains. Other than that, now let's focus on the important matters, which is live. I do have a tune on a server, and I am going to check it out.
You're just not letting this go, woman.
Just because somebody's going to see me online and be like, why the fuck you playing classic?
We're going to call you out, regardless.
I'm going to see what I'm not missing, but I am going to check it out because I'm, morbid curiosity. But that's just...
You're human.
I probably don't even have time for the fucking loading screen. Okay. Now, 8.2.5. Not a whole lot of content in your traditional terms. I didn't remember most BlizzCons, Grin, so I got you. Like, that's my goal every year, is to not remember. I want to be so drunk every night that I don't know if I need to regret the decisions I've made.
I was drunk every night. Especially that IHOP night.
Yep. So, Okay.
Ooh.
Oh, he is my slave name. What? I'm changing my name and my pronoun. Okay. 8 point, that's probably going on Twitter. I'm going to be a hater of something, I'm sure. 8.2.5 is not a huge content patch. There are some quality of life improvements. There is some things that Blizzard is doing improvement-wise that I think should be highlighted, and I actually want to check it out. I should probably go in and check it out tomorrow because I'm curious about it. But the first thing is this party sync situation. Now, when I first read this, I thought, what does this even mean? Like, whatever. So basically, in PTR, which you can go in and check it out now, there's it's exactly what you think it is. It's party syncing. When players activate party sync, everyone in the party becomes aligned with the same quest state, including phases, which is a huge problem, especially in BFA and Legion. Because a lot of that shit is instance phase for single man instances for you to go in the way that they have the interactive, like, in-game cutscenes. It's interactive with your character, and the only way for it to be so is for it to be single man instances. So you have everything is aligned with the same quest state, including phases. Mousing over a quest in your tracker, you can see who is on the quest, what their progress is, who's already turned in the quest, which is a huge thing. Because we don't know if we just didn't do it. Did we do it and forget? Did we not do the preceding quest? Like, we have no idea when Envy, myself, and Julio, and, like, Rem was with us this last weekend. We didn't know who did what because that wasn't there. So this here is pretty huge. I guess there's also something they're going to be trying out in PTR called a replay quest feature, which I don't know if I glanced over this or didn't read it. Will allow players who have already completed certain quests to replay those quests with their friends for rewards that are appropriate for their current level, regardless of the original level of the quest. I gotta be honest, the amount of times that either I've had to redo a quest, not really doing it, but just being there and helping, and the amount of times that I know Envy has, and Julio has, and pretty much everybody that plays WoW at some point has redone a quest that they didn't get to actually get credit for because, can you just show me where they are? Because I can't see it on my map because I don't have the quest. That's
Waiting for you to, like, try to figure out what part of the quest you're on is aggravating as is. So this is a quality of life improvement, which you won't be getting in Classic, by the way.
I'm excited that that's not. I'm excited that's not a part of my live experience here at retail, because that's what we're calling it now, retail.
Just call it production.
Like, yeah, prod, right? Because I agree, that's how we should roll. They're also relaxing level restrictions on queuing for instance content with your friends. This allows player levels to queue for content in their level range. Higher level players can choose to join them by having their level scaled down where they are in their instance. If you get the choice, I think that that's great. But remember the good old days when your friend could just run through and mass kill everything in an older dungeon and you just fucking level up? They fixed that a long time ago, though, where I'm pretty sure that's not even a possibility anymore now. I think they nerfed the shit out of that and they made it where
you have to have, like, an XP potion or something.
Yeah, that doesn't work the way that it used to. But it'll be available for dungeon instances. And then I think they're also going to be testing PvP instances. This was an older post because we didn't have show last week. Unlike time walking, when your level is scaled down via party sync, you will temporarily lose access to abilities and powers such as Azurite traits with requirements that exceed your reduced level. Makes sense.
Indeed. Final Fantasy XI did the same thing. Same exact thing.
Really?
With the exception of the quest. The questing was impossible in that game to begin with, but you could be a high level, which was 75 at the time that I stopped playing at least, 75, and then scale down to a 50. Your health is pretty on par. You lose abilities. All of your gear acts like it does in time walking. It scales down. In some cases, it's worse to have your high-end gear for the level you're going to do.
I agree with that.
But I don't think it's going to matter much.
I think that's a big deal, and it doesn't matter whose. I saw glanced at the comments, and there's people have said essentially the same thing you did. Oh, Final Fantasy does that. Here's the thing. Everybody borrows from everybody, guys. That's what we do. That's how you improve and you get better. You don't reinvent the wheel, because that's just stupid engineering. You don't reinvent the wheel. If the wheel's already invented, you just slap that bitch on your car and you keep on right on rolling. Because in the terms of level of effort and the money that you're spending on labor and things like that, you don't spend it on reinventing the wheel. You spend it on innovating, to be perfectly frank. And the problem with Blizzard has always been their lack of innovation in the last 5 or 6 years. It's been reinventing a wheel or fixing problems that aren't broken. Making player decisions for players instead of staying in your lane and develop, and instead of telling us what's fun for us and what we should be doing. So this is nice. It's nice to see them focusing on the things that are important, because this is the shit that matters, not whether or not you can connect to Twitter from your Battle.net. These are the things that are important, and these are the things that give me hope, guys. It's these little dumb things that give me hope that there is the Blizzard. Now we got a real beef. Pyromancer, we're beefing. We have a beef. This is how you get famous on the internet, or so I'm told.
Is it Prime Cut or USDA?
Oh, good question. Hold on, I gotta I'm gonna tweet a really funny GIF right now during the show, because this is how you have beefs. I've never had a not real beef, though, where I'm just pretending. All my beefs have been, like, literally fuck your mother beefs. Like, fuck your couch, fuck your dog. Like, serious beefs. So, Party Sync, go. If you have the opportunity to do testing in PTR when they're doing these type of things, go in there, test it to make sure that it's good by the time they release it. Please. Because then we get phasing issues, and then things happen, and whop, 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 whop. So, the other important thing, I don't want to call it important. I don't want to confuse anybody by making you think that a thing is important that isn't. The character selection screen, which is a UI improvement.
Oh, Alex Jones moment. Here we go.
Oh, what's happening?
Alex Jones moment.
What?
Your character selection screen. Jesus. Let's go.
Oh my goodness. Is Lycan here? Lycan, is that you? Blink once if it's you. Blink once it... Pyro, we're having a beef, apparently. Someone said we're beefing, so now we got a beef. Like, is this East Coast, West Coast beef, though? Will, like, help me out. What type of, like what?
Tupac Biggie?
Or is this, like, Martha Stewart versus fucking, what's that? Paula Deen. Like, what's the level of beef here so that Pyro and I can react accordingly? Is it, like, fuck your mothers and your couches, or is it just your couch and your dog?
Is it like a Jimmy Kimmel, Matt Damon kind of thing?
Exactly. Like, we need to know what type of beef we're getting into. That way we can react accordingly. But I can tell you that the beef...
What's this wee bullshit?
Listen,
I'm
we're
Mexican.
supposed to be
I'll
partners.
fucking run.
Hold on, you're Mexican. That
running.
means you're even more supposed to be part of this beef.
Hola, pinche gringa. Vale madre, puta madre.
I can tell you that the beef isn't going to go very far. Pyro has a check mark on their Twitch. We don't. We don't. That should tell you how far the beef is going to go. It's going to go to, like, carne, not shredded. You get what I'm saying? Like,
I'm just waiting for... I'm going to say it. I'm just waiting for Ice to break down the fucking door.
like vanilla or Ice Cube? Or ice as in illegals? There's a lot of ices out there, Gabe. Envy, you gotta be specific with me. I don't know which ice we're talking about.
You genuinely had me mind fucked right there. What Chaos just said.
You guys are that's really racist. No, because if I would have laughed at that, everybody would have tweeted to me and been like, "Wow, you racist bitch."
Her last name ends in easy.
I just want you guys to know that my last name is Hispanic, guys. I'm one of you, kind of. I just really like pumpkin spice, though, just so we're clear. Like, I super like pumpkin spice.
There's nothing wrong with pumpkin spice.
I'm saying that shit is good. Oh my god, it's so good.
Spice.
Okay, so character selection screen. I had to, like, it took me a minute to figure out why this is actually sparked up two sides of the story, where there's a lot of speculation. There's been talks for 10 years that they were dissolving the factions. That's literally one of those things that's talked about every single expansion. Oh, they're dissolving the factions. Oh, they're dissolving the factions. That could very well be, guys. I'm not a developer. My name is not Blizzard. However, iced tea sounds really good right now. However, when we talk about this, there's icons on the selection screen for your character. To me, I'm old as fuck. Sometimes there might be a tune that's so old, I don't know if it's Horde or Alliance. Not by first glance. It might not even be in Orgrimmar or an Alliance city for me to recognize. I could be off in fucking BFE. To me, this is a great quality of life improvement, especially if you have as many tunes as most people, where they're already capped out on one server, which they've increased that since then. But, like, that's a quality of life improvement. However, there are people on the interwebs that will make anything dirty because that's what porn sites do. And we're now sparking the rumor that this is going to essentially abolish the factions, right? There's been talks of that ever since we started deep diving more into the story with BFA, because it seems like an end of days type of scenario, and we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. Here's the thing, they just spent all this money on developing allied races and implementing the system that is faction specific. I can't imagine that they're just going to say, okay, we're going to break down all those faction barriers. It doesn't make a whole lot of monetary sense to me from a business aspect. Blizzard does not tear down things, they just regurgitate it, right? So I don't imagine that we're going to see an abolishing of factions. I do know that as recent as this year, and for probably the better part of the last 4 years, there's been little random conversations about the possibility of a third faction. Now, whenever we've had these discussions about third factions, people always throw the stupidest fucking factions out there as a possibility. The thing about a third faction to understand is it has to be on the same level as Horde and Alliance. It can't be no little tiny faction that's some random quest giver that you dealt with 5 years ago. It has to be literally on the same level as Horde and Alliance in its ginormity, if that's even a word. Like, is that a word? Ginormity, guys?
Sure, for the sake of this conversation. Or whatever the hell you're on.
I don't know, I'm just going to say ginormity. And I'm going to say fuck pyro just because I feel like I'm supposed to, because Will has instructed me to beef. So I'm just going to randomly... Isn't that what they do on TV?
I don't fucking know. I don't beef with anyone.
If we were rappers, we would have like a rap-off where we would insult each other. Or we would release on the sly a series of raps and lyrics that were just beefs. Right? I don't fucking know.
Sure. What about Rathion being the third faction?
Is that a faction? A diss track, thank you. So, with that in mind, I'm going to preface this again by saying, please do not give me no stupid fucking faction that we dealt with once in the last 10 years. I need an actual faction that is comparable to Horde and Alliance. Because factions are representative of the entire Azeroth globe. Right? So it's split in half, although there's many factions under those other factions, and there's other, you know, when we went to...
But we could be talking about like one of those like man in the high castle situations where you got the Japanese taking the western half of the U.S., the Nazis taking the eastern half, and then the middle, which is basically central United States. But that's a resistance.
I can't imagine.
You can argue it's a small group, sure.
I can't imagine that it's going to be anything that we've known in a deep... Like, if I'm Blizzard from a realistic perspective, the third faction that I bring to a table is going to be an undiscovered faction. It's going to be a faction from another world. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm just saying, because I don't feel like if I'm them and you're already going to go for the unprecedented, we're doing a third faction. Well, I mean, pandas weren't a faction, but they kind of rode the line, right? Because you had to make a choice whether you wanted to be, so you got to choose. But I feel like if I'm Blizzard and I'm thinking from a realistic perspective and from a awe-inspiring perspective, because they got to have some new tricks up their sleeve, guys. They're not going to survive if they don't innovate. That's the point, is innovating, because they're not going to survive off their same old reskin bullshit. I feel like if I'm going to do a third faction, it's going to be an undiscovered third faction that's going to be either in a part of Azeroth we haven't discovered or on a whole other something. What do you think,
Interesting.
Envy?
It'll be interesting. 3 factions. I'm just trying to like mull this over my head. How's that gonna work in like a battleground perspective, lore wise? Like, am I still gonna be beefing with the Horde and this other threat? Am I gonna be fighting 2 fronts? Is everybody gonna be fighting multiple fronts?
Did someone say beefing? Aren't I beefing? Who am I beefing with? I forgot. Someone.
Just to make it clear, you're beefing, not me.
Listen.
No, I'm not. No hablo inglés, no.
I need a ride or die because Envy's not my ride or die anymore.
This no DMX here.
He's just gonna let me live out here in the land of beef without backup. Where's my Tio? My Tio would have my back.
Me, sir, dear, no here.
My Tio would have my back. You know, the Wowhead Calm Before the Storm shirts are really cute. I want one. Anyway, okay. So, third faction. I want actual suggestions on ones that are a good possibility, that are not your basic bitch factions, and that could be a contender for Horde and Alliance. Or one could argue that it could be a split off. Maybe a mommy Alliance and a daddy Horde fell in love and made sweet, sweet love. And the product of that sweet, sweet love was the third faction that...
That's how Garona was made.
Right.
That could actually be very viable.
It's true. How much work would go into that from a development perspective?
Not much, because the lore is pretty much there. They're either for or against the Void. Like, there are 2 sides.
And Velitrius as well. Individuals to be able to select faction. That's interesting. I think we'd be getting into a slippery slope of it not being Warcraft because I think it's too much customization for people. I think part of the appeal of World of Warcraft is that you are locked into those modes because that's what keeps it story rich, right? Because you're fully immersed if you're... Like, I really want to be Nightfallen on Bell, but I can't, right? Because then I have to race change. But, I mean, I have to faction change. So I feel... See, I told you guys, Rem exists. He exists. He's here. We found him, guys, last week.
Pick me up some too while you're at it.
We found proof of life that Rem exists. We actually physically seen that Rem exists. We know we're not talking to a ghost. We know somebody hasn't, like, assumed his identity. We know Rem exists. So here he is.
He mounted me this week.
He did.
Several times.
He did mount, and there isn't anything weird. We don't have to make it... Do we have to make it weird?
No, we got a lot of stuff done while he was mounting me.
What? I'm too immature. I'm not. I'm way immature to be. I don't have that ability. Too immature.
You know, just swung it around and hit shit with it.
So factions. If you're listening to this, email me. If you're watching this on YouTube, I don't even know if anybody watches anymore ever, to be perfectly honest. But I'm interested because they're not gonna break down all the factions. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
It's a lot of wasted dev time.
Yeah.
You're pretty much on the money with the allied stuff, the allied races and whatnot. That's a lot of dev time, and if you're an executive, that's like money going out the fucking window.
It's time is money, and they, Blizzard's a business, and every piece of code is money that they have to pay to the dev, or the light bill, the internet, at literally like your utilization. Let's go businessy. Your utilization has to be on point, because when it comes to big business like that, your utilization numbers will get you fired.
Right.
Not saying I know that personally because I am in a different part of my work. My customer satisfaction will get me fired. Luckily, I know you guys don't believe this, but I actually am a great director of global support in terms of customers. I actually am really good with customers. You would think that I wouldn't be because I'm a dick, but I actually am really about our customers, to be perfectly honest. But
How do your employees feel about that?
I don't know. Ask
You can
Ask
you can
Chaos. He'll
reach,
tell you.
you can reach me, via Twitter if you need some people to talk.
Yeah. Chaos will tell you. We.
Next time we make eye contact, Chaos, just.
Well, no, he can tell you honestly. We have the type of work.
Mijo, si te está maltratando, dime.
Listen, you're so. Hi, Google translates a thing, fuckbag. He said, "Help me." Okay. Guys, Lycan's here. Rem is here. I don't know what to do. I'm going on overload. Like. I'm not on that one. I'm on the one that begins with a W because I was summoned there by some of my dev friends. I was summoned. Whatever the one that begins like a W. I have no idea which one it is, but that's where I was summoned. Who gets 20 views? Pyromancer. I feel like I've watched a Twitch. I'm not going to lie. I don't watch a lot of Twitch. I do a lot of YouTube, but I don't do a lot of Twitch. But now I'm going to be famous just because someone else is famous who tweeted to me and we have a beef.
What's this weed bullshit?
I'm saying.
Like,
I'm going to, if you have a check mark, I automatically know you're cool. I'm just kidding, guys. I don't judge you based off your check mark. Okay. So, I don't really feel like that this is foretelling. I'm going to be really honest. I feel like this UI improvement was strictly because it's a UI improvement. I could be very wrong, but I don't think it's foretelling. And if I'm wrong, I'll eat my words, guys. There is a lot of little stuff that I want to talk about for 8.2.5, but I actually would like to test it before I talk about it. Because there's 2 items that I want to talk about that I am pretty interested in, but I don't want to talk about it until I've had the chance to check it out. So when I go into PTR, we can talk about some other things. Now, let's talk about what we've been waiting to talk about, because I have to be a nice guy and not spoil. It's exhausting. So let's talk about that Eternal Palace cinematic. Now here's something that's super, super funny. So when we're going through Eternal Palace, I'm so focused on Raid, I'm not paying attention to what's happening in Raid. Not focused, not paying attention. I'm just doing the things. So sometimes I don't get the story that's happening during Raid. It takes me a few downs to get it done. Sometimes it even happens like when I'm just doing LFR in one of my alts. Then I'm able to kind of pay more attention. But I had no idea what the fuck we were doing besides killing Ashara. I didn't know what the hell we were doing. So here we go. The first time I had a conversation with Rem, I got what I had been missing, because Rem is always good about pointing out things that I miss because he knows I miss them. So let's talk about this cinematic. And if you haven't watched it, just go watch it, guys. It'll take like 40 seconds. Just go watch the goddamn thing so that we can talk about it. So first, let's talk about the number one thing that should be on the hearts and minds of everyone. How fucking stupid does everybody feel that we legitimately are the reason that the old god is no longer in his prison? Spoiler alert, he's not in his prison anymore. Anybody here feel dumb? Feel used? Who here feels dumb? Anybody? Because we performed?
No.
Rem's exact words was ritual. We performed the ritual. We broke him out of his prison. We did. Us.
Actually, nobody grabbed the key, so yeah, it was our fault.
Yeah, we.
What'd you think of the fight?
The fight in general is an interesting fight. It didn't, it being a ritual to unlock things it never occurred to me, but it should have.
Yeah, I enjoy the fight thoroughly. It's probably one of my favorite ones. I did it in heroic.
Is it much different on heroic?
A little bit. I joined Bug and they did a completely different strategy, but yeah, it's a little more painful. Some of the decrees are a little different, but it's a fun fight. I love it.
So, we were used, and because I even said to Rem, well, what kind of power does it take to get an old god out of his prison? And he's like, our power, for fuck's sake, because we broke him out. Now, just so that everybody is aware again, everybody has the full picture and the full weight of why this very fast cinematic was so important, is N'Zoth is 100% not in his prison. We're not dealing with an image. We're not dealing with a projection. We're not dealing with an aberration. We're not dealing with a minion. This motherfucker, tentacles and all, are 100% no longer in their prison.
Full-fledged, 100%.
Was in the closet, now he's out the closet.
For the lack of better words, I suppose, yeah.
And I want to say the words... I want to say the words unprecedented, because in my generation of this game, this to me is unprecedented because I haven't dealt with an old god. So then I said to Rem, I mean, even though N'Zoth he's largely considered like one of the weaker ones, right? Like, he's not the biggest and baddest of the old gods if you were to put them on a badass scale, right? But, I mean, he's an old god anyway. At this point, you just need the VIP card that gets you in. You don't actually need to be in the VIP room. You just need the card. I mean, we need a Titan. We need big. So I told Rem, who's available? Who do we call? Rem said, well, our other Titans, they're off fixing themselves and recuperating and recovering. Like, we don't have one, but we do. Which is Azeroth herself, assuming we're able to fully heal. We'd have to break Azeroth out, right? Because she's in the planet. We'd have to, what happens when you break Azeroth out of being the planet? When you let the world soul out, what happens to the world? Does it explode? Rem, you should be able to give me a direction there. If we need Azeroth and Magni, how the fuck does Magni not know the goddamn difference between a fucking Void Whisper from the creepy Beyond and Tentacles, and his own fucking imaginations in his head? Literally just led us right down the wrong path. He's old enough to know better. Once you have gray hair, you are old enough to not be having the wool pulled over your eyes. But if Azeroth is who can stop N'Zoth, how do we get Azeroth out while keeping our world intact? Is that possible? I'm asking because I genuinely don't know. I'm not an engineer. I know that the reason we were without Thrall for a while is because Thrall was holding up the world, right? He had to balance the world because something was happening and he had to physically hold it up. So, is it exploded?
Guess we'll find out, won't we?
Well, how do you get the... So we're old soul now. We go to the part of chambers to do the things and Cha-Cha and Rochambeau, but how do you get Azeroth out to be able to fight? One would assume that if you're inside something and we have to get it out, everything that it's with is kaboom, right?
More or less. But I don't know. I honestly don't have an answer to that. Rem, what do you think?
Because when I was thinking about this the other day, I was in the bathroom. And you guys know I do my best thinking in the bathroom. But I was thinking about it, and I thought, my theory has always been that we are going to leave Azeroth. I don't know if I'm molding things to try to make my theory correct, but what better way to leave than your planet exploded because you had to let the world soul out so the world soul could kill the old god. Unless there was another old god that we got to defend us, but that doesn't sound like it's possible. All the old gods just want the Black Empire back, and that's not racist. It's legitimately called the Black Empire. It's mentioned in game, guys. And my best friends, cousins, uncles,
I
sisters.
think you would have been okay not mentioning it to begin with, but you know.
So, did Rem die? Because I'm sitting here on bated breath waiting for a damn answer. Anybody else know? Lycan, you're here, for fuck's sake. Somebody. Now, this Pyro person probably thinks I'm crazy. They tweeted to me and they probably thinks I'm nuts. Will, can you please make sure Pyro knows that I didn't have nothing to do with all that? I didn't get any response, so I guess I'm gonna have to. I guess I'm gonna have to figure that out later. So that's a discussion that I think we need to have, and I want to talk about this next week on the show, and I want to talk about the possibilities. So I need everybody to put their tinfoil hats on, and
Alex Jones.
Yeah, let's see what we need to do to get this worked out, because I'm ready to talk about it. So. Yeah. Anyway, okay. So real quick, let's do the weekend WoW. I do need to get this. I do have to wrap things up because NV has to go. He's got a work emergency, and I feel him on a deep personal level. So let's talk about our weekend WoW. What did you do last week, or rather this week in WoW?
Just mostly keys with the usual crew. Nothing special. I AOTC'd the mage. That's about it.
You did on the mage?
Yeah, I joined the pug and got lucky.
Okay.
The strat's different though. Like, I can't wait to get there with the group.
I can't.
But yeah, just keys and raiding mostly.
I did rep stuff. Got caught up on a lot of things, actually, things that I had just been putting off, my additional recipe learning, just kind of my little, like, to-do list of stuff that need to be done on Bell. I'm almost ready for flying. I have some rep that I could have gotten this week, but due to work and dealing with IRL stuff, I didn't get much of a chance to rep grind this week. So...
Just Rust Bolt you need now, right?
Yeah, that's all I need. I'm about halfway there, I believe. I'm pretty sure I'm halfway there. But, yeah, I mean, it could be worse. I'm making it happen. I don't really need to fly right this second anyway, so it's not really that big of a deal. I only want to fly because I don't have it.
You got jetpacks there, at least.
The jetpacks are actually pretty legit. I don't mind when I'm in Mechagon because the jetpacks are actually pretty cool. But, so let's make sure that we talk about this Azeroth situation next week, or the following weeks. I forgot we are not weekly, we are bi-weekly. We are going to wrap it up and have a super short show, because that's what we do. Short.
Because I'm late.
Okay.
And Pugsy ran off, so no pug dick.
That's really weird.
It's unfortunate, but you know, pugs need their privacy too.
Do they need their privacy?
Sometimes they snort, sneezing in their mouth.
Oh, that's so gross. Stop. Sneezing in mouths. Blech. I feel like I'm just gonna throw up right now. Well.
You see that? It's that face sneezing in your mouth.
You're talking really quiet and it's creeping me out.
Because I'm really high and I'm not ready for this work call.
Guys, we're gonna get out of here for reals. We love you all. Thank you for watching. Bye.
We love you, Pyromancer.